I was last able to cover the upcoming Payday mobile game, Payday Crime War, almost 5 months ago in December 2021. To say that the silence has been deafening ever since would be an understatement. Clearly Popreach found something in its limited closed beta that it didn't like, footage from which you'll be seeing in the background of this video. To tell the truth, I'm not massively surprised by this. The game was incredibly rough around the edges, and in many ways looked and felt worse than it had back in 2019, likely as the legacy architecture had needed to be updated very rapidly to make such a test possible. So with Popreach somewhat disappearing off the face of the earth and returning back to the drawing board, I was secretly quite confident for the future of the game, as it meant that the company was not simply looking to flip a second-rate experience on the back of its strong IP. Clearly the guys at Popreach are genuinely passionate about creating a good game here, which is why I'm happy to report that the silence has been broken and we have something tangible to sink our teeth into as fans of the franchise. Starting from the 25th of April and moving forwards on a monthly basis, we're going to be receiving dev blogs updating us on the state of the game, release schedules, and detailing additional features we can get excited about. I'm going to paraphrase as I run through the blog today, but if you want to read it for yourselves, just follow the link in the description. First things first, to set the scene, the devs touched on December's beta tests, mentioning the 20,000 signups, which blew expectations out the water and probably cemented the fact that this game was set up for success, assuming Popreach could get the systems in place to work well. Of course, this beta was less about map or gameplay testing, more about core functionality, and from my perception of the situation, highlighted just how much work would have to go into the game before a global launch could be considered. Remember, many of these legacy systems have been in place since 2016 and are simply not compatible with what's expected from a modern mobile shooter. I can tell you with a degree of certainty that Popreach was initially hoping to be able to re-release within 12 months of buying the rights in what I imagine was considered to be a clean-up job, but instead we're now seeing a game in full-blown development, which may mean more waiting for us, but also expanded scope and likely a longer life cycle to boot. Today's dev blog focuses on the largest new feature coming to Crime War courtesy of Popreach, the PvE mode. I believe the reason for PvE coming to the game is twofold. Not only should it interest Payday 2 players who are coming from a co-op background and encourage them to try the PvP-focused experience, it should also differentiate Payday Crime War from the myriad of more recent mobile shooters which likely outcompete it on a purely PvP basis. I think this is a really sensible move, and I'm excited to see how the team are planning to adapt and expand upon Payday 2's core mechanics to get this right on a very different platform. If we take a look at these bank heist screenshots, they actually look like really nicely scaled down renditions of the most iconic Payday 2 heist out there. It's almost an exact replica in terms of design and layout, but we can already see some mobile variation with these safe objectives spread around the map. We'll learn more about how objectives and difficulty are going to be handled in just a second, but first I want to note the developer's mention of stealth. Whilst none of the screenshots seem to highlight the possibility, I certainly wouldn't write it off when Popreach are clearly fans of Payday's original formula, and from what they've said, I assume that heists will at least have stealth sections to remain faithful to their original design. As we read further through the PvE overview, I get more and more excited. Popreach are adding features to this new mode that I've genuinely asked for within Payday 2 proper. For example, tying objectives to varying difficulty levels is a great way to add difficulty more organically than Payday 2's classic cops do more damage and have more health system. I'm also intrigued by the concept of a mission timer, which sounds like an expansion of the heat system. What I'm assuming this means is that as the heist drags on, difficulty actually ramps up tangibly, meaning your approach needs to be well thought out and executed at all times. I also love that it sounds like civs will have a genuine purpose, raising the heat level if killed, which actually makes a lot of sense and ties them into the gameplay. The idea that heists will be unlocked as you level up is not entirely far-fetched, but leaves me hopeful that the PvE mode won't be monetized in an aggressive way, with heists locked behind paywalls. Trust me, if the game is good, people will spend on the in-game store regardless. Finally, I really want to touch on bullet point 5. Missions being shortened is fine, it's exactly what I'd expect, as mobile gaming is much more suited to 5-minute play sessions, and the gameplay should be designed to match that. But in particular, from this point, I can confirm that the guys at Popreach truly are Payday fans. Drill times are being shortened and bag hauling simplified. This is huge. Remember, in most cases, those mechanics exist to pad heists and emphasize its design as more of a horde shooter than a tactical heisting game. By reducing these time sinks, Crime War might actually capture the essence of what makes heisting in Payday 2 enjoyable, even better than its parent game. I could not be happier to hear that heists are being streamlined, and I'm now more confident that the Payday formula has a really solid place within the short attention span mobile market. Brilliant news for fans of the series. Beyond this, I do get a feeling that PvP is on the back burner slightly. Maybe this is just because the PvE systems are entirely new and being built from the ground up, but even so, I'd love to see how Popridge is developing PvP be the focus of the next blog, especially from a map design and character skill perspective. Oh, and is the Cops vs Robbers theme actually coming back? The addition of PvE leaves me doubting that somewhat, as your cop characters would surely not be accessible when robbing banks. This has me wondering if PvP is going to turn into some strange internal gang warfare situation, but I'm hopeful that it will remain a police versus gang setup, especially if it has any intentional bearing on the lore of the game. But I've been thinking that setting Crime War in the period shortly after Commissioner Garrett took over the Washington PD and making the police characters function as high-ranking members of Captain Winter's Phalanx squad could add some depth to the game's narrative and expand on a period in Payday's lore that really was underdeveloped. Remember though, this is all speculation, which is why I'd love to hear more of your thoughts, and I'm hoping to receive some more PvP details direct from the developers in the not too distant future. With all that said, I'm just happy to hear that development is still moving forwards and seemingly in the right direction too. For those of you wondering about release dates or future beta tests, sadly we've had no indication of that whatsoever. Which makes me wonder if a 2022 release is even going to be on the cards. Possibly the new plan will be to try to coincide with the release of Payday 3 now, but that has its own issues, seeing as Payday Crime War is based around the events of Payday 2. I'm also positive that there will be another open test phase, so maybe look out for that over the summer. If anyone from Popridge has any more information for us, I'm sure they'll share it shortly, as it's essential that the community is well informed on progress from here on in. Thanks for watching this video guys. I think patience is going to be the key here, but I'll keep updating you on the state of Crime War as the news comes out. As ever, thank you very much to my Mean Infamy patrons and above. If you want to join that infamous club to see yourself in the credits or get early exclusive access to my videos, including the story videos, check out my Patreon link below. Remember the Discord is open to all if you crave some more Payday discussion. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you all very soon for the next one.